Oh yeah. It's time for trends in the housing market, folks. Let me get my cat out of the room.
So we gonna ride. So we gonna ride.
Oh yeah.
So we gonna ride. So we gonna ride. What I want in the house price business, hey, yeah, yeah. Mortgage I kill the people them. The house is so high, and the pressure it wearing the people them down. The people them down. You better give a good price for the house them. Give a good price for the land. You better give a good price so me and me family can make it out and we can stand strong. Trends in the house market, we need it, yeah. We need better way to go. We need better way to go. You better give a good price for the house. Give a good price for the land. Give a good price so me and my family can make it out and we can stand strong. Give a good price. You better give a good price. Give a good price. Give a good price.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you're watching this transmission. You are tuned in to Trends in the Housing Market. It is I, Mike Martins. Thanks for joining me all tonight. Comments are already just on fire here tonight. Just taking the housing crisis discussion and putting a twist to it and making a spin and making it bearable to sit through and talk about, because this is affecting everybody. Everybody is affected by this housing affordability issue across the Commonwealth, and I have all kinds that are happening right now, guys. I got articles from all over the Commonwealth that shows that house prices are going up in certain areas, and some of them they're correcting, but in most of the parts, housing prices are going up. And how is that even possible? And there's some markets where housing prices are going down, and they're not, and they just keep going down. So there it is, people in the comment section. We have Owen. We got Bruce in the house. TJH in the house. GP100 in the house. Mark Andre Moses in the house. PC Principal. No, I'm not drinking pickle water. It is lemon water. We got Big Rob New Zealand just joined us. Owen. BitConnect. What's up, what's up, what's up, BitConnect? Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, oh, well, we're taking a twist on housing and bringing it into perspective, and, yeah, that's good. All right, 26 Gunter in the house. Everyone is coming to join. 0% says, did anyone hear of the debt jubilee in March of this year? I know a friend that had his mortgage forgiven. I was blown away. I don't know about that. That's from 0% there. What else we got going on here? All right, so I caught up on the comments there real quick. Let's get into some of the show here. Let's do a quick channel plug before we move into, let's go to article scan here real quick. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Less than 20% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. And that's not good. I think everyone should be subscribing and being part of the channel. I think that's nice, a nice gesture. Other upcoming events, Mike and the Night's coming up. Don't forget to set your reminders for the most censored show on YouTube, Mike and the Night. And then trends in the housing market. So we got, hold on, trends in the housing market, housing show under attack. They've taken down several episodes of trends in the housing market. Guys are no longer there because of for the simple fact that we are discussing housing affordability and first-time home mortgage buyer loans, and I think we discussed something else about an economic takeover. Yes, YouTube unsubs them properly. Probably that's what's happening. A lot of people. I get unsubbed to good channels all the time. So, guys, here it is. On the channel, there's already videos on tons of fast food casual restaurants shuttering. China taxes expatriates. This could be the nail in the Canadian housing crisis, where the Chinese government's going to start tracking down expatriates and finding them and getting them to pay taxes back home. And you're going to see a lot of properties probably have to be sold on bargain price. And small business bankruptcy easy now. And massive economic changes. Are you ready? Yeah, you better watch this one today. It's about the interest rates going down. Really good video here I did today for you guys. So that's that. Oh my god, I'm yawning. I'm already yawning at the beginning of the show. Guys, I want to thank everyone that's on Teespring buying stuff for... I got Trends in the Housing Market mugs and t-shirts here too. For tonight's show, Trends in the Housing Market. If you guys want to, here it is, Trends in the Housing Market, Morning Coffee with Mike mugs. So if you guys want to pick up something to support your local channel, no problem. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. It's kind of funny how Facebook treats me like a business. I'm closed right now. And almost 120,000 people. Facebook is not allowed to make me a public figure because I am not critical, and because I'm not worth being, or Facebook doesn't see me worth it to being a public figure, according to Facebook, that I'm not credible enough. So that's not bad. Imagine 115,000 people like you on Facebook or follow you as a public figure, and you're not a public figure. Holy crap. So Facebook could go straight to hell. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll give you guys my Instagram if you guys want to jump on there and send me some show tips. I get messages all the time. Sometimes I get them like funneled or blocked or put aside for me to read later. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they would funnel my messages or put it aside if I'm no one of importance. Why would they even bother? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so silver and gold are having a very good week. Yeah, so is my airline stock, guys. I did a video earlier today. My airline stock's through the roof. I took a bit of profits today, which I should. TJH says, if it all falls apart, we just go to the Raven's cottage. I'm sure he has a few thousand worth of long-term survival foods. Oh my god, the Raven bought a gold maple today. $2,550. So somebody heard from a family friend that the Hong Kong passport has been converted to an ordinary mainland Chinese passport. Oh, wow. Well, that's something we're going to be discussing on Mike in the Night. It's kind of important. So let's move on to what is happening in the news. Oh man, there's just so much, guys. So you guys are going to have to bear with me. I got some big stories. Okay, I got some big stories, and then we're going to follow into different areas in different pockets. So you're getting an effect of an unreadable effect across the Commonwealth. You got the United Kingdom that's declining in prices for housing, and the price of housing is just really falling apart. I don't think England's doing a good enough job to bring in more foreign investors like Australia and Canada is right now. So I'm not sure what England is doing, because the price of their housing is dropping like a rock right now. And then you got you got Sydney going up in price in Australia, but you got Melbourne going down. And then you have Toronto sales go crazy, and then you got Vancouver sales going crazy. Sales, not price going up. And then I'm not sure. So let's move on here. So let's go into some big news, guys. First, article scan. A spate of bank runs break out in China, fueled by social media. Again, they're not blaming China's poor their economic platform. They're not blaming their house of cards housing market that's built on a house of cards. They're not blaming misallocation and misspending of funds. They're not blaming overprinting their money and currency. They're blaming social media. So people are having bank runs out in China. So people are removing money from their banks. Confidence in the 43 trillion banking system is eroding among the nation's more than 1 billion account holders, threatening a cornerstone of China rise into an economic powerhouse after several bailouts. And the first bank seizure is more than 2 decades last year. Remember that bank seizure last year? We covered that here. The COVID outbreak and its economic fallout have exacerbated an already shaky situation in the world's largest banking system. So right now, the biggest bank system in the world is failing under its own weight. China imposes checks on large transactions after bank runs. People are trying to get their money offshore. I've even heard of a group of people hiring or renting a submarine. Yes, renting a submarine, I think for $7,000-8,000 a day to get their money offshore and take it to somewhere like Australia or New Zealand or something, like looking to rent a submarine to fill it with cash and get it out of China so they could put it into other countries and ruin the other countries, basically. So mainland China just grew. Taiwan's next. AAAA in the house saying, I love China. Okay, China imposed a program to keep large transactions in check amid heightened concerns over the state of its financial system as a bad debt balloons in the wake of COVID outbreak. The People's Bank of China this month kicked off a pilot plan in Hubei province that would require retail and business clients to pre-report any large withdrawals or deposits, according to the statement. Maybe one day in Canada, for a non-Canadian, they'll actually pass that law. If you're Canadian and you go to the bank and make a deposit, or you pay off your credit card or something, and you're in Canada, you've been going to that branch for 50 years, the teller looks at you when you make a big deposit like you burnt their house down. They look at you like you committed a crime. But a foreigner goes into a casino with 3 hockey bags full of cash to launder. Nobody says anything. A foreigner goes into the bank and deposits. I saw a guy when I was in Vancouver deposit close to like $240,000 in cash in American, in bundles, in a bag. No one said nothing. So it's kind of weird, you know. But in China, they're starting to do it now. So people that withdraw transactions exceeding 500,000 yuan, that's 71,000 for individuals. The threshold spans from 100,000 to 300,000 yuan, depending on the region, according to the statement. So depending on which region you are. Okay, I don't know why this Bloomberg. I'm not gonna pay for this Bloomberg crap. Can't even fix an election and win it. Bank of Canada keeps key rates at 0.25%, sees a 7.8 GDP drop this year. El Banco de Canadá se va a dejar. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Su interés de 0.25%. Está a ver 7.8 GDP más bajo este año. So this is it. The retraction in the economy right here. And the Bank of Canada will keep its key interest rates at 0.25% until the national economic picture improves. I did read this today, and I'm thinking they're going to keep rates this low, and they're going to keep it this low until they can find a way, or until, okay, let's get realistic here. It's until they find, until the elections are over in the U.S. and they force mail-in ballots, and then once they force mail-in ballots, then that way that will fix the problem, and then they'll obviously miscount the mail-in ballots, and that, my friends, would be COVID, the end of COVID. So once the American election is over, you'll see the end of COVID. I wish Obama was president right now. If this was on his lap, they wouldn't have any cases. Everything would be clear, and America would be open for business again. Long time ago, and Obama would win another Nobel Peace Prize for clearing up the COVID. But because it's not because this thing happened in the wrong administration, you see the fallouts now on what's happening. Daniel O'Brien says, in Vegas, a guy went to cash a check for 200 from B&A, Bank of America. They only gave him $100 in tens. Yeah, 2020 by a landslide, mail it in, literally. Yep. %0 is saying, did you hear that Rocco Golati is suing the Canadian government over damages caused to his business by the COVID lockdown? Yeah, the problem is there's too much going on with that. We will be covering that on Mike in the Night. I promise you. I promise you guys, because there's too much happening with that. It's gonna take a whole show to cover that and understand what's going on, because they're gonna go into a mail-in system. Too bad. I kind of wish now Obama was president, because then we wouldn't have this COVID issue. Not because Trump's doing a bad problem. The media will put a different spin on it, and it's all what the media dictates now, and that's dangerous. The media likes to dictate opinion and spin it into fact. That's what's dangerous right now. On the radio today, a lady said her hospital is reporting false positives to get more money. Yeah, of course they are. It's all about money, people. Canadian home sales up 63% in June. Prices rise 6.5% year over year. There it is, guys. Home sales are up in 63% in June. And there you have it right there. The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales continue to rebound in June after plunging earlier this year due to the novel COVID. The association says sales in June were up 63% on a month-over-month basis, while the number of newly listed properties climbed 49.5% from May to June, compared to a year ago where sales were up 15.2%. So sales are going up. The real estate industry came to a near standstill earlier this year as a non-essential business is closed. You know what was essential business? Do you guys remember? Huh? Do you guys remember what was considered an essential business when this thing took over? And, well, they kept flights open to China 100%. And what else did they do to make this essential business essential? What was essential? Construction. Building condos for foreign investors. Building up them condos, building up them homes, and construction was essential. You have to risk your life in this COVID to build homes for Canadians that can't afford to buy them. Woo! Yeah, Owen in the comments with construction. Where's Gary Medeiros? He's in the house. I want to know what the hell is going on here. Why are the price of houses going up? Let me see if Owen Riley's here. Let me call Owen. I'm calling you, man. I need to know what the heck is going on with the house prices there in Toronto. Pick up, Owen. Owen isn't picking up, and I see him live in the comments. I wanted to talk to him to ask him, because he's out east. I want to know what the heck is going on. Maybe I can see if I can get Steve the plumber on later. Okay, another big story. There are 2 vacant properties for every homeless person in New South Wales. New data shows that there's approximately 68,000 properties sitting vacant in New South Wales. That's in Australia, people. Which could easily house the state's 37,175 people, homeless people. Now, I spoke to somebody from China. I actually spoke to a Chinese investor who was living in the city of Vancouver the other day, and he explained to me why he's not renting out his home, why he has 43 homes, not condos or apartments. He owns 43 houses in the Vancouver area, and he leaves them all empty. And he explained to me why he leaves his homes empty. Because he doesn't want to attract any disturbance from the local governments to pay more taxes. And he doesn't want to attract any disturbance or any noise so back home in China so they could tax him. So they're trying to take their money. So if the Chinese government right now that's taxing expatriates is basically looking and say, oh, you own $2 million of property in Canada, so we're going to tax you for that $2 million that you took out of the country that you didn't pay tax on. That's the problem. So they want to put money in real estate, but they want to keep it hidden. And that's why they don't want to attract it by, this is what they told me. This is what this investor told me that owns 43 properties. He doesn't want to attract local governments and then having to pay more tax and income goes up. And then, by the way, this guy that owns the 43 properties is actually collecting welfare because his income is zero too. And he's collecting welfare and he owns 43 properties that he's left empty. And he told me that basically he doesn't want to attract attention to his investments and he wants to leave it under wraps. He doesn't mind paying the foreign buyer, the vacant home tax. He doesn't mind paying that. He said it's cheaper than paying tax to the Chinese Communist Party. That's what he told me. Okay. We got the comments flying right now. Okay, we got Zoe in the house. We got 3RG in the house. The Raven in the house. Oh, we got everybody in the house. So there it is, guys. So the amount of empty properties. So people purposely leave properties empty in these cities, not so they don't attract attention to the tax man and or attract attention. This is what a Chinese investor told me. So that owns 43 properties in Vancouver and that's collecting like some sort of assistance because his income is zero. So let's move on. Okay, another big story here from The Atlantic. A lot of Americans are about to lose their homes. The current housing crisis could get messy quickly, but fixing it shouldn't be complicated if Congress intervenes. So there it is. A lot of Americans are going to lose their homes because of this whole election year. You're going to a lot of destroyed lives because of this election year. Again, if Obama was president and this virus fell on his lap, you wouldn't have any. He'd have 0 cases, and he'd be up for another. He'd be up for another Nobel Peace Prize. But because of the administration that's in place, the whole country needs to suffer for a democratically elected president. Okay. Comments are talking about movie theaters. So there it is. Let's move on. Let's go start off in Toronto here, or Canada. Over stimulated Canadian real estate sales rise over 15% higher than last year. Over 1 in 5 Canadians are on CERB, the country's emergency income benefit. So 1 in 5 Canadians are on this benefit relief support center thingy. There's a guy apparently that applied for it for his dog, and his dog got a check. Canadian real estate prices grew 29 times the rate of U.S. home prices. Oh yeah, 29 times is being 29 times higher than the U.S. price growth. That's actually an understatement. I believe 35 to 40 times higher in Canada. So, oh, beautiful. They have an index right here. Canadian real estate prices inflex, an inflation-adjusted index. That's a really good one. So this is the price of the average. What is this? What is it multiplied by? Adjusted of index, real estate prices. Oh, okay. This is the increase in prices. So Canadian real estate prices have been on a tier. Even just this year during a pandemic, the price of a home in Q1 of 2020 is up 2.4% from the previous quarter. Compared to last year, prices were 3.4% once adjusted over inflation. Over the past 12 months, all of the annual growth came from just 2 most recent quarters. There's the price of housing in the United States pretty much since Q1 of 1975. Prices went up. There it is in 2006, and then prices came back down by 2012. You saw the bottom of the housing barrel there in the States, and things kind of adjusted. But look at Canada, man. Yeah! Free healthcare, baby! Woo! Yeah! Look at the price of Canada here. Yeah! Come on, let's get some clapping and cheering. Look at Canada. Yeah! Look at that! Yeah! Yeah, you got a highway with 2 lanes in it. Yeah! The worst driving, blind drivers. Canadian real estate prices grew 29 times faster than U.S. prices. Recent acceleration while the global economy slows down isn't just a new phenomena. It's been happening since the Great Recession. Canadian home prices have increased a whopping 88% since 2005, almost doubling in 15 years. To contrast with U.S. home prices have increased just 2.9% over the same period. So we have 88% in Canada increase in house prices and just 2.9% in the States. In other words, Canadian home prices have increased 29 times faster than U.S. home prices. That's adjusted for inflation as well. Woo! Woo! That's nice. Canadian home prices have increased at the bare neck speed along with household debt. This isn't just in major cities either, it's a national index. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and even smaller markets like Niagara have likely overperformed this rate of growth. Locals may not understand just how much prices have increased from up close, but if zoomed out against the global economy, it's astronomical growth. There you go. But no one's talking about this. Look at the rate increase in the price of housing. This is going back to Q1 of 1975. That's when Barry White made that album, 1975. We brought you an album with the song. And then boom, look at that. Look at Canada. Woo! Zoe, where are you? Zoe's saying, is our bubble going to pop this Christmas? Asking for Santa. Where are you? Are you in the United States? Are you in Australia? Are you in New Zealand? Are you in the UK? No, Mark Andre Moses, I bet it's not affordable to buy a house or build a house. But I have a friend that's trying to build a house on his land, and every quote he's getting $600,000-$700,000 to build a house. To build the same house in New Mexico, or to build the same house, it's maybe in Central Florida, maybe to build the same house, and even like in San Francisco. It's not going to cost anywhere near $700,000 to build a house. The land is where the value is. Why is the land? I don't know, man. Like I went to go get some quotes to paint my car. They want $12,000 to paint my car. I called a paint shop, a big reputable paint shop in Oregon, and they'll paint my whole car. Tax in. Well, they don't have state tax in for some of those things. $2,000 US all in. They remove the headlights. They remove everything. They remove some of the paneling and the bumpers to paint it properly and paint the inside of the doors and everything properly. $2,000 all in, and they match the paint and they do everything to a T. And they put like a really thick clear coat to make it really hard to penetrate the surface. $2,000 all in. In Canada, same paint job. I don't even know if it's going to be the same quality work in Canada. $12,000. Yep. Oh, we got Lord Humongous. Lord Humongous. 600 large to be. I had Buddy on the show. He called in. He was live on the show. He was telling us he was getting quotes to $700,000. So, Daniel O'Brien says, found out all electricians in San Francisco and Bay Area are not working right now. All right, so there it is, guys. There's the reason why a house in Canada right here. The price of housing in Canada just outpaced the price of housing in the States, and this is from Q1 of 1975. All right, let's move down to the United States of America. There's a very important article here I want to read for you guys coming out of Seattle. This is important that we focus on this, guys. We need to focus on this because they want to make ad revenue. You guys kidding me, man? Seattle area housing market in June sees the shortage of homes, multiple offers. Again, Seattle is bought out by foreign investing, and they're blaming it on the big tech companies. If I was a big tech company, I would say, oh, I am so sorry for what I have done to you guys. I'm going to move the hell out and move to somewhere in a rural part of Alabama. And that's it. Problem solved. You know, because foreign investing came in and just like right after 2017, when Vancouver introduced a foreign home buyer's tax, that's what happened right there. Multiple offers. That's why Seattle is the new Vancouver. And that's why they've called it that in many periodicals and articles out there. Home builders just saw the strongest June in sales in the last housing boom as the pandemic pushes more buyers to the suburbs. So what's happening? We're seeing a lot of newly built homes jump 55%. And that is, again, homes that are being built in the American suburbs. In the perfect storm of the nation's house builders, a sharp decline in the supply of existing homes for sale, increasing consumer performance for brand new high-tech homes with all the amenities and working and schooling, as well as an accelerating flight to the suburbs to exurb, made for remarkable housing demand in June. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of American cities go empty real fast. And that's what's happening there. Texas home market suffers from lack of inventory. Austin sees a 7.7 drop in the number of homes sold. So there it is, guys. Home sales are down, not because people aren't buying, it's because there's not enough inventory. So Texas inventory homes in the 300,000 price range fell to an all-time low of 2.4 months. That's what started happening in Vancouver in 2009, where the houses that were anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000 were impossible to find, and people within that's the middle class, the secret recipe of the middle class, of where the middle class needs to be in Canada, is about 300,000 to 400,000. I think in tech in Austin, I think that's already above. I think that's already past 40% of your income. I think that's too high for a house in Austin. I think the average house in Austin needs to be 210, 255 for a decent home. So that's what's happening right now. And then Fort Worth is fell 2.4%. Dallas fell 2.6%, and Houston fell 3.4% because the houses that are within affordable range for people to buy are disappearing. And that's what happens. So that's a big deal right there. They're blaming, the lack of inventory is being blamed on the lack of affordable housing. Researcher, the South Florida housing market sees highest overvaluation in 8 years. So in the last 8 years, the price of housing in Florida in the Miami-Dade area is up 19.2%. It's the highest it's seen in the longest time. And right now, Florida is seeing a lot of foreign investing pouring into the state of Florida, buying up Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, pretty much all of Broward County is seeing a lot of foreign investing coming in. So single-family homes in Broward year over year. Looking ahead, prices are expected to remain relatively the same. Prices are not expected to continue to rise as quickly as they used to. That's what they're saying now, but we're going to see what happens. So here you go. Homeownership among blacks, Latinos slides in South Florida. It's getting more and more expensive. And I would say Americans, and I would say like Caucasians. I say everybody are going to be taken off the affordability ladder over time. Do homeowners want telehealth as an amenity? Nobody cares. So that's that. So right now in Florida, they're seeing this problem. We saw that South Florida was being bought up a few months ago by foreign investors. Housing demand in London dropped 6.1% annually in the second quarter. So the only place right now where you're seeing a correction in housing is London, England right now. We discussed this in the last show that England, month over month, quarter over quarter, is dropping. And that's it, man. London is seeing the affordability. It will take about anywhere from 8 to 10 years to unwind to get affordability levels back. UK house prices dropped for the most since the financial crisis. That's from yesterday's or 2 to 3 days ago. There it is, guys. They're right there. Residential prices, I can't read that. On Wednesday, the government temporarily lifted sales tax. So they're lifting sales tax levied against first £500 down. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So they're getting desperate. They're going to start giving you bargains. Motion passed to ban the sale of public land in Dublin, Ireland, while housing crisis remains. So they're actually going to start putting in laws during they don't even give a crap in Ireland about the COVID crisis. They care about the housing crisis, and they're taking it very seriously there in Ireland because they've seen what happened in Vancouver, Sydney, Toronto, San Francisco. They've seen what happened all over the Commonwealth, and now Ireland's saying, this is not going to happen to us Irish. So the Irish have a history of fighting back in very interesting ways when it comes to getting even. So right now, they're seeing what's happening in Dublin, where they had to raise taxes across the board and the cost of transit, the property tax, because everyone's left the big cities and now there's no one there paying taxes. Nobody working there paying the taxes. Return of first home buyer lifts housing sentiment. This is in, I think this is in Australia. I think this is. So first home buyers take charge. So it looks like they're getting first time home buyers back into the market. Where the heck is this? This is in New Zealand? The Financial Review. Oh, Australia. New South Wales could break a fragile recovery. Consumers become more optimistic after initial wave of COVID, according to ME Quarterly, with positive sentiment of 6 percentage points to 35%, although it was still well below the recent 39% recorded in the first 3 months of 2020. So obviously from the first quarter, you're going to see an increase in the second quarter if they allow COVID to dissipate. The Australian suburbs where house prices have surged despite the COVID pandemic, with Sydney flourishing as Melbourne flounders. So right now, Sydney is going up and Melbourne is going down in housing. Sydney is the home of 14 of Australia's 20 best performing real estate markets. Melbourne is home to 14 of the nation's 20 worst suburbs home price drops. So you're seeing a lot of price correction. Guys, you see this average house here? Look, okay, this is two houses. There's this thing in the middle. There's the neighbor right there. That's a neighbor. That's the neighbor. That's the neighbor's garage. This is your house, and this is your garage. You know how much that is in Sydney, Australia? $2.7 million. That's about 2 million American dollars. All right, what's going on, everybody? Oh, we got Layla in the comments just jumping in. 3 RGs in the comments. We got David Xavier in the comments. Johnny D in the comments saying, big divide, yes, only get bigger. Marc-Andre Moses saying, okay, listen. That I see houses all the time over $1 million in Vancouver, but what is the salary of the people in Vancouver for $1 million? Oh, see, you need to have a salary of a combined family income of about $244,000 a year to afford a house like that. A combined family income, about $244,000 a year. And people in the United States that are watching this, or rural parts of the country, $1 million homes in Vancouver. Why don't these people buy a $300,000 home? There's no such thing. Those things don't exist. So other people were watching the show the other day. I think they were from Greenland. They were watching the show. They were commenting. They were saying, "Who the hell is going to pay? Why do these people need to live in $1 million mansions in Vancouver?" I'm like, no. No, City of Vancouver $1 million teardowns. No, multi-million dollar teardown homes. No way, Jose. No, these are teardowns. These are homes that are absolute garbage. $2.5 million. Look. You could probably buy this somewhere in rural Indiana for about maybe $5,000. You could put this on your credit card in some parts of the States for under $5,000 for that house. I'm not kidding. Maybe on one show, I'll actually buy a house on my credit card like this in the States somewhere. This is a different house. This is $4.3 million. This is $4.3 million. And my house is like 2 times bigger than this. The house I'm in right now is easily... My upstairs is 1,800 square feet, and my downstairs is 1,950 square feet. So, it's... Yeah. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. $4.3 million. Yeah. It's $2.48 million. Well, it's got a plastic chair outside. Yep. All right. I don't know what Bloomberg is trying to do. He's probably trying to recover from the loss, the big losses he did during the election there. Top end of Sydney, Melbourne's markets lead. Yeah, we got that. All right. We got that already. How banks can avoid the repeat of 2008 foreclosure crisis. Well, print more money. U.S. homeowners are struggling to stay on top of their mortgages, and the problem is likely to get worse, according to the real estate data from Black Knight. 4.6 million American homeowners were in some type of non-repayment as of June 16, representing 8.7% of all mortgages. That is huge. If precedent is anything to go by, in many cases, it's unlikely that the mortgage lenders will ever see much of the money they've lent. The problem is, a lot of the banks didn't have the money to lend to the people. Money didn't exist. It was created by debt. So a lot of people that know the basics of banking, the bank, I could prove to you on that day when they lent that money out for a person to buy the house, I could bet you anything they want. If you go to that bank branch, they don't have the money in cash to cover that mortgage that they lent out. So we're not going to get anecdotal tonight on that. So let's see if we can get a caller in to find out what the heck is going on. So let's look at this old... I like this old house. Is this... Oh, I love going on this website to make people feel good about themselves. I just like going on this website, you know, just to kind of throw out there, you know, there's like mansions here for $296,000. It was like, oh my, but that's American. Okay, 370,000 Canadian, you know, yeah. Yeah. Steve, can you come on the show, man? I just wanted to do an update on what's going on with Canadian home sales up 63%. We haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. Let's go. Your Skype is on. Here you go. Let's see if Steve will picks up his phone. Oh, he declined the call. That's okay, guys. All right, so let's move on here. So Canadian home sales up 63%. So let's go to This Old House Dreams. So nice, guys. I hope everybody's could sit back and enjoy this for a little while. Oh, look at this. Let's see if we can find a house to put on our credit cards here. See if I can find something that's worth looking at tonight. Ooh, this is 1889, built in 1889, 295,000. See this house right here? This house right here? Let me tell you something about this house here. This house in Sydney, Australia, with indoor plumbing in the bathroom, indoor bathroom, you're looking at about $4.6 million. In Vancouver, $3.8 million. In Toronto, $3.2 million. But in the States somewhere, 70 grand. $70,000. See, people that are watching this show from outside are wondering, why is everybody in Vancouver looking for $1 million house for? That house in the States is $70,000. Okay, that's worth 70 grand. You could probably buy that on a line of credits. But that same house in Vancouver, without the land, $4 million bucks. So that's that. $4 million bucks. Let's see if we can. I want to see if Mitch is watching. I want to talk to Mitch. Well, it looks like I ain't gonna be getting a hold of anyone. It's really nice out. I'm sweating. Look at this little castle. That's $575,000, guys. That's not good. That's almost 7,000 square feet. Oh my God, this little castle. The problem with this is, like, this house, I like this little atrium, how they have the glass ceiling up here. I like the glass ceiling idea here, because if you were to buy this in Australia, this would be $7 million. And this in Canada, $17 million. Oh, servant's kitchen. No, that's the servant's kitchen. And that is the main kitchen. Oh, look at that wine cellar. Backyard. That's what I'm talking about. Where the heck is this house? It's in Indiana. 575 grand. It was hailing from a hailing New Orleans family from 1929. It's called Casa Mañana. That means the house of tomorrow. See, and these things even have history. Johnny D says, mid-level nice pad in Kelowna, you're paying around 800 grand. Well, I'd rather convert that into US dollars, 575, and just buy this. That's just me. I mean, you know, when you're paying, what, property tax, $2,800 a year on that, it's cheaper than what you're paying in Kelowna. I can tell you that right now. See if there's anything nice here. See, this would, a lot of people that watch the channel that don't know what's happening here with this housing crisis would say, oh, you know, family could start in something like this, build it up and then sell it, make a bit of money, then sell it and upgrade. Okay, $74,000, almost 2,000 square feet on an acre of land. Okay, you could do that. Look, your private drive and everything, you could do that. But the problem is something like this in Canada and England and in Western United States and in Australia, and anywhere within 100 miles of a major city, you're looking at a couple of $1 million for something like this. Yeah, the Raven's saying, you can't intimidate breast milk. Let me see if I could get Gary Medeiros. Oh, there's Mitch. Yo, Mitchie, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Mike.
I got your website open here. The Old House Dreams. I've been looking at it with here for a little while, watching these, up and coming first time mortgage home family homes, and getting people basically excited there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some of some of the deals that are available. Before we continue, Mike, the my internet is in and out, and if it becomes problematic, we'll just say goodbye. Okay?
That's okay, no problem.
Um, Hey, I was curious. It's a little bit of a change of subject, but it's about trends in the housing market. The house that you're building on your wife's place there, and is it Polillo Island?
Yes, I think it's Palolio Island. That's correct.
Is it Quezon Province?
I'm not sure if it's that. She sent me photos. They sent us photos of all the bricks they have and everything they're bringing on the land, and they built a fence, and that's about it. I'll get my wife on maybe on Mike in the Night to talk about it a bit and maybe put up some photos, because we're building a house in the Philippines for a couple of grand, and a lot of people won't believe that. Like when you tell them that, they're like, "What are you talking about? To build a house in Canada, it's going to cost at least $700,000."
Yeah, I bought an old fallen down shack over there, and had the whole thing rebuilt, including the cost of the lot, which was a untitled lot, and all the rehabilitation, new electricity, new roof, new framing, new floors, new walls, and a about a 3 meter hollow block fence, perimeter fence, all the way, all four corners, all the way around, and then a custom gate built, a gate for a man gate, and then a bigger gate that swings for a vehicle, a small vehicle like a motorcycle or something to come in and out. And that cost me, the whole total was about $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000. Yeah, with a perimeter fence and a house, everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. When I told people, yeah, it's going to cost me $3,000 to build a house in the Philippines. It's 2-story and it's 3-bedroom and it has this and it's poured concrete and it's not cinder block. It looks like cinder block, but the holes are a bit smaller and they're a bit more rigid than cinder blocks. She showed me photos of it, of all the blocks. So, you're building a house for $5,000 $3,000 in the Philippines? I'm like, yeah, I am. And when I go there, when the stupid COVID crap lifts up, I'm gonna go there and make some videos and show you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you read that Qantas Airlines is going to shut down most of their international flights until at least March 28th of next year?
Wow.
That's the flagship carrier of Australia.
Well, it's you know what it is, Mitch. We wouldn't be having this problem today if Obama was president. Not because he would do a better job with COVID. The media wouldn't be putting so much hype on a bunch of garbage just to get the current president out. And they want to force mail-in ballots. I know you're in the States. Do you agree? Do you think this is what's happening? They're going to push it to mail-in ballots?
Yes, because the people that have control can sway the election any way they want once the whole country is mail-in.
Yeah, because if Obama was president right now, he would have got another peace prize by now, and he would have eradicated the COVID within weeks of its arrival in the States.
Gerald Celente says Obama got the piece of crap prize.
Piece of crap prize. Woo! All right, so what's going on here? We're seeing here, Mitch, in the United States. I'll bring up the article here. A lot of Americans are about to lose their homes. So it looks like even though we did go over a chart here where Canadian real estate prices adjusted for inflation, I'm not sure if you saw this, in comparison to Canada. Canada's this chart goes back to 1975 Q1. The price of housing in Canada has went completely through the roof, hockey stick, in comparison to where the United States is right now since 1975. Holy crap. You still there, Mitch? Did we lose you?
Yeah, it's fading in and out.
Yeah. So what do you think is happening? Like, how come Canadians aren't losing their homes as fast as Americans when the price of housing in Canada is 26 times higher? That's what it said. Hello?
Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry that I've got a repair ticket for tomorrow between 1 and 5. This internet has been driving me nuts.
No problem. I'll let you go then. No worries. Continue watching the show.
Okay, yeah, 28 million people could be hitting the streets in the next couple of months if the government doesn't start printing trillions of dollars and handing it out. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
see you tomorrow. Bye, bye all.
Bye. So Mitch Madden's getting some bad internet connection. He is in the Oregon area, and yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to get pretty bad before it gets any better. And I wanted to get see if my buddy here is on the line here. We could get to Gary Medeiros. Hopefully he could pick up. We haven't chatted in a month now. 21 days we chatted. I do see him in the comments. Come on, Gary, pick up. Man, I can't get anyone to comment on this article. Canadian home sales up 63% in June. Prices rise 6.5% year over year. And then you look at this chart here where the price of housing is article scan. The price of housing in Canada versus the price of housing in the United States of America. Wow. Where things are headed. Everyone's out. I know it's nice outside. I'm just trying to see if I could get somebody that's not either sleeping or out and about enjoying this beautiful weather we're having. It is nice outside. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Man, there's nobody online. There's nobody online. Anybody want to call in? Owen, you want to call in, buddy? Anybody? We need to find out what the heck is going on here. I'm going to go back to this and help you guys out. I'm here to help you guys out. To look at this home on 1 acre for 74 grand. Oh, but there's no jobs there. Go work at 7-Eleven and pay a $74,000 mortgage with zero down payment of $198 a month. Oh, job. I'd rather work at 7-Eleven and pay $200 a month for a mortgage for a house on an acre like this in the States than work a high-end job making $200,000 a year and just getting by the skin of my teeth. Yeah. All right, let's keep going here. Let's make everybody feel good out there. I still like this one. This one's in Georgia. This mini mansion, this plantation here. It's a beautiful. This is on Peach Orchard Road. This is like an old style plantation house. Beautiful house. $325,000. This is in Lanesville, New York. $119,000. Oh my God, a house. I was looking at this. I'm like, this is pretty expensive for this little house. It's because it's in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. $374,000 Canadian. What is it? 100 square feet? Wow, it's 2,000 square feet? Wow, there's a house here from Canada. That's well, it's expensive though. It's in Moose Jaw. Moose! Moose! Okay, so nice. Okay. Moose! All right, who's out there? Who wants to call into the show, guys? Let's get some first-time callers. Mike Martins, 1980, add me on Skype. Tell us your housing story. Tell us what you could add to the show. Ooh, this one's on a private island in Grand Island, Florida, $399,000. 1910, 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms on 5 acres of land. Ooh, and it's got a private drive to drop off friends and stuff. Oh, and it has a whole parking lot. The house has a whole parking lot for cars. What? What? Why does it have a fireplace in Florida? It's like never gets below like 20 centigrade. You could have a party. You could have a party in this house. Rooftop patio. It's all poured concrete though. This is all concrete. You could paint this. You could strip it down and paint it all. This is all poured concrete, this house. This house was built in... Where the heck was this built? 1910. 399. 6 beds, 6 baths, almost 5,000 square feet on 5.3 acres of land. And you have a whole parking lot. I would convert this part of the parking lot, like right here, like this part right here, into a basketball court, right there. Then I'll leave the parking lot here for people that visit. And then on this section here, I'll put like an outdoor, like mechanic garage. Like I'll just leave the tools and put like a tarp, like one of those outdoor tarp, like canopy things all year round, and leave my tools, go out, work on a few things, fix a car, do something, change a carburetor, I don't know. Then go through, play some basketball here. Where's the pool? This house doesn't have a pool. That's what this house doesn't have, is a pool. What? This has a mattress on the front lawn. 95 grand. But people are saying, oh, that's a bad area. Guys, there's bad areas in Canada, like really bad areas in Vancouver, where a house like that, in that condition, with no land, it's like $2-3 million in a really bad area. So don't say, oh, but look at the bad area. No. There's bad areas where homes are $1 million, like this. IDK saying, no, Mike, for bumper cars. Yeah, you could use that for bumper cars if you want, that area, that concrete area. Man, you could even put a helicopter pad. Let's see what else we got here. Wow, this one's nice. This one's in South Carolina. It's got a plantation style feel to it too. Look at that. Beautiful. And it's got like a secondary home too, eh? Like servants' quarters or something. Yeah, that's a nice house. This is a nice home. Yeah. Endless amount of rooms, party rooms, kitchens. Just an incredible amount. A sunroom. Look, a sunroom. This just keeps going. 304 grand. I like this stuff, you know? It's nice stuff. Or you could just buy this in Vancouver. $2.48 million. Yeah. All right. Who wants to come on the show tonight? Who's not scared to come on? Who is not scared to come on the show? Oh, we get Evan, the market guy. He's not on. Someone's asking me. I don't know what they're asking me to verify here. I don't even know. I think they got the wrong number. Come on. Who's out there, man? The Chinese banks. Futures market is collapsing, says Lord Humongous. Yeah, banks are giving away money too cheap. That's what we covered that on our first story tonight. The Bank of Canada is lowered its rates, and then you're going to start to see home sales start to go up because lending is going to be cheap. I don't know. Someone asked me, should I buy? And I said, you know what? It's just too, realistically, you know what you got to do? Okay, if you guys want to buy. Okay, my Skype is ringing here. And it's not ringing on my Skype here. It's ringing on my phone. Holy smokes, we got the Walking Journey messaging me tonight. How is he doing? I hope he's doing okay. Let me see if I could bug. I'm going to bug everyone tonight. I'm going to call Evan the market guy. See if he's away, if he's available. Man, no one's connecting. No one's picking up. Okay, guys. So here's the deal. If you're going to buy a house, let's talk now. Let's talk seriously now. If you guys are looking to buy a house, make sure it's a 40% of your calculated combined income. That's it. So if you want to buy a house for $1 million, make sure that it's not going to cost you more. Your total debt service ratio isn't going to equal more than that the cost of paying for your shelter isn't going to be more than 40% of your income. The problem is people right now are paying 70 to 80% of their income just to pay rent. So how is anyone going to be able to afford to buy a house? That's the question. That's the problem. Owen says this 20 to 25% is minimum for down payment. That's correct. 20, that is correct. Now, we already read a few articles where in Australia, Canada, and big cities like in London, England and stuff, people need to save for 23 years to afford to put down a 20 to 25% down payment. 23 years they need to save on an average working high wage earning jobs. Like medium to high wage earners need to save 20 to 25 years to put a down payment on a property. Yeah, I'm not making this up. I could show you the articles. So it's like your son goes off to the workforce when he's 20. Okay, son, get out there, and in 23 years, you could afford a down payment to buy a house when you're 43. What? And that's normal? And no one's protesting on the streets about this? Why is no one on the streets protesting about this? That it takes 23 years for the average to high wage earner to save 23 years of savings to put a down payment of 25%. Why isn't anyone protesting that? But no, that's okay. People are comfortable of seeing this house in Vancouver for $2.48 million. Well, where's that $5 million house? There was a $5.5 million teardown, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Woo! Let's go back to this. I want to help people out. Oh, look at that. I want to help you guys out. Look at that. 5-bedroom. Oh, it's got a price range here. Let's put price to $100,000. American, guys. This is American. So this is like 130,000 Canadian. Watch out. There we go. Let's see if it even comes up, but there you go. 99,000. 89,000. You can't buy anything for this price in Canada. You can't buy anything. You can't buy this anywhere in Canada for 69,000. Anywhere in Canada, this house would have to be like a computer simulation to pay that much for it. It wouldn't be in real life. 6 bedrooms, 3,300 square feet. A starter home like this in Canada, you're looking minimum 350 to 400,000 in a small suburb. Oh my God, log cabin. Oh my God, with 2 acres of land, 30 grand. Oh my God, this is in Santa Maria, West Virginia. 1812 log cabin in St. Mary's, West Virginia, $30,000 on 3 acres. You know how many people will scarf that up in Canada for 30 grand? Quick in a heartbeat would scarf that up? Because you don't have to get building permits here anymore. You could get like a building to build a new structure on the property, but because there's an existing structure on the property, it won't be that hard. Look at this. It's boarded up. You could even work out of it. You could even work out of here. You could actually set this up and build your house next to it. Look. That's a lot of grass to cut. 30 grand. $30,000. That's like 38,000 Canadian dollars for two acres with $30,000, originally built back in 1812. So if it's haunted, who cares? Build a house, cut a few of these trees down, cut some of this grass, start getting a big bonfire in the middle, start, clearing brush. Man, you could build yourself you could do a whole YouTube series on this. A whole fresh channel. And you get the property for 30 grand. And then the revenue you make from AdSense, from the YouTube videos, people watching, you start reinvesting the money into building this place up. Then you start inviting some of your YouTube fans to come visit you. See? Sweet getaway cabin. 30 grand. And I'm pretty sure, if you show up there and say, oh, I only got 27 on me, that's all I got, 27 large. They'll be like, okay, we'll take it. We're asking 30, but we'll take 27. Wow. Beautiful wooded park-like setting, great access, an old water well, and electric is near the property if you decide you want to be on the grid. Oh, no, you just keep it right off grid and start putting the solar panels. Get a transistor radio for a couple of months, start setting yourself up. You got to shelter off your first winter. Make sure you could survive your first winter, get everything ready to go for the first winter. Springtime hits, man, you get to work on that place. Man. Owen says, my house here is $450,000, but my property taxes are $10,000 a year. Do you still want it? So $10,000 property taxes a year. In 3 years, you could pay off this whole home with 2 acres of land, just paying property tax. This is a dream right here. This is the American dream right here. You go in there, you start making your own little interlock pathways. You start, running a little bit of concrete on some sections here that you don't want to continuously cut grass. You want to build a big fire pit to burn garbage. You can make an entire YouTube series of this. You have no idea. You have no idea. $30,000 in West Virginia. Oh my God, property taxes are $290 a year. So much money in property tax, $290 a year. Owen's paying $10,000 a year in property tax. Red Pill Millennial, what about buying a land and putting a prefabricated home on it? I got a buddy that's looking into that too, and he's looking at, literally, honestly, he's looking at $540. And the house is just nothing special. Oh my God. Look at this house in New York. I would just buy this house, honestly, again, to make a YouTube series out of it. Wow, this is basically, is this the turn of the century or the end of the 19th century, 18th century, 19th century, sorry. It comes with land, though. I wouldn't even attempt to repair this house. I would just, I would just buy it for the land. 0.75 acres land, 27 grand, 3,000 square feet. I don't think I'd attempt to fix that house. It'd just be too much work. Unless you make a very in-depth YouTube series with like 150 parts into 10-minute segments, 20-minute segments. That would be too much. But still, to buy this house in Vancouver, oh, here, there's 27 grand in New York, and this house in Vancouver, $2.48 million. 89 grand. Wow, 8 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 10,000 square feet, 9.5 acres. $54,000. $54,000. It even has a YouTube video made for it. The Graves Mansion. I guess it's an old mansion. Wow. $54,000. Hey, what if we get everybody on the channel to get their credit cards and we all chip in and buy this property? Then everybody will own a piece of this property from the Trends in the Housing Market channel. Built in 1880, 8 bedrooms, 5 baths, 10,964 square feet, 10 acres of land, 54,900. There's 137 of us watching this right now. Divide that. That would be... Let's see what that would be if we were to actually divvy up this house together. What that would be together. So 136 people watching. Okay, so we have to divide 49. So we have to divide 54,900. And let's divide that into 139 people watching right now. So if everybody chipped in $394.96, $394.96 American, we could all chip in and we could buy this house for $54,900, 10,000 square feet, 8 beds, 5 bathrooms, and we could actually put a schedule for people to visit from the channel and actually come in and actually everybody work on it together. We could actually have shifts where people would, oh, Mike, I know how to do the drywall. Oh, Mike, I could do the entry. Oh, Mike, I could do the concrete. Mike, I know how to paint. Mike, I could do electrical. We got Owen. Owen could do all the electrical on this house in a couple of months. He'll have it all done. All the electrical. You know what I'm saying? We could redo the exterior, power wash it. We could even install new windows, make it more, aerodynamic, so to say. Get new garage doors, redo the roofing here. Oh, we could have a really nice looking house here. So if everybody on the channel basically put together $394 US, that's like 500 Canadian, we all of us watching this right now could buy this house and we could actually own it. And we could all take turns going to visit it at least. And everyone needs to chip in $3 a month for property tax. $3 a month for property tax. TJH says, call the realtor right now, Mike sold. Kick-Ass says, it's simple math, Mike. Jeez. Yeah, but the borders are closed. Sounds good. Someone says, sounds good. Let's buy it. Yeah, IDK says, I could sort the garden and clean. Joe's Guitar Bar says we could have a brothel in there. Yeah, we could dedicate this section of the house to it if you want. Are we going to form a cult of Mike? No. Someone says they had some bad feng shui. Kick-Ass says, Mike, how about you do it all and we'll just watch? Oh, I'm just kidding about everyone donating to buy this property, but I'm saying it would cost $396 each for everyone watching, all the people watching right now. 139 people were watching to actually buy this house free and clear. If everyone donated $394 American. Now, to buy this house, $2.48 million. So let's do this. $2.48 million. And divide that into 139. Now the game changes. Everybody needs to come up with $17,841 Canadian to buy this house. You see the difference from $300 each to $17,841 each. Yeah. Yep. kind of wanted to. Wow. Okay, let's see who else we got. Who could we call? Who could come on the show? Oh, Steve Thomas in Sydney, Melbourne sent me a photo. Greater Melbourne has been in lockdown from midnight tonight. Yeah, they got to push that agenda a lot further. We should get Anthony Ruvalacaba on the show. We got... Let's do a quick channel plug. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. The Trends in the Housing Market, the longest housing discussion trends channel in North America. Guys, don't forget to set your reminders for Mike in the Night this Saturday. If you could make it, keeping track of the visions in my eyes, Mike in the Night. Open discussion. We're just going to cover current events on what's happening and maybe sprinkle a little bit of, different discussion here and there. There it is, guys. If you can, don't forget to set your reminders for upcoming shows. Also, guys, don't forget to shop Mike Martin's if you guys want to pick up something off Teespring. Please go ahead and buy something off Teespring. A lot of people have been buying mugs and t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. I really like this. Renters living on credit cards. Yeah, someone just sent me a message there. Guys, this is my Facebook that's considered a business. There's almost 120,000 people following me here on Facebook. Unfortunately, they don't want to verify me as a public figure because they want me to be a company. It's closed right now. I asked Facebook, can you please verify me as a public figure? They said you're not credible enough. But I know people that have 2,000 people that follow them on Facebook and they're a verified page. How do they do that? I don't know how they do that. I have no idea. And guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to just talk and hang out and message me any show tips. I do check my Instagram from time to time. It just sometimes Instagram auto blocks things. I don't know why. So there's the link there for Instagram if you guys want to follow that. All right, who wants to come on the show? Is there anybody that wants to come on and comment on any of the articles that I read right now? And I have music videos up. All right, let's see what this is. Can't leave Canada, student loans. So there it is there right now. You know what? I see Layla on if she wants to come. So the problem is you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. It's kind of sad because if you do own and you're in the housing market, but the property taxes are too high now. Right? Owen's paying $10,000 a year in property tax for a house that's worth $400 large. So it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. Almost $1,000 a month. That's a lot of property tax. When you could buy this thing here in, where is it? Marion, Alabama, $63,000. Look at that. Lots of land, too. Look at this big backyard. Look at that. Look, it even has a little fort here to hang out. Look, a fort. It's a fort. All kinds of cool stuff. You know? What are you looking at here for this? What is this place? $69,000 property tax. $498 a year. I mean... Okay, that's reasonable. I'm not asking for free housing. I never come on here and ask for free housing for people. I'm asking for average wage earners, not minimum wage, average wage earners to be able to get into a comfortable market, pay $69,000 for a house, and it has 6 acres of land, and start a family, and then build it up, and then sell it off and get something better. That's what I'm saying here. This is what I've been saying all these years. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading the comments here. Someone's talking about banjo music in the comment section. Parties right there. Could have a bit of cattle, a bit of goat for to make some cheese, and a little bit of cattle for fresh milk. But you could be set with something like this. I mean, you could completely go off grid with this backyard. Look at this. You could convert the fort into somewhere you could put your tools and your shed and stuff. And I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there because there's a lot of Mike, 6 acres, 69K is in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This house in the middle of nowhere in Canada is not 69K. This house in the middle of nowhere in Canada is still $300,000, and the property tax is like $6,000-7,000. That's the problem. 69K in the middle of nowhere. You know how much, the peace you'll have if you convert this thing to off grid. I think there's plumbing and everything, but I'm saying if you convert it to off grid and start catching your own rainwater, or getting a well in here and getting an electric pump, and starting to get your property developed, what do you need to be in a city for? So let's see if I can get Layla on the show. I'm grasping at straws here. See if I can get anyone on the show tonight. It'd be nice to get somebody on the show, at least one person to call in and give us a little bit. Layla.
Hey, what's up?
Oh my God, I got a hold of somebody in Syria. Yeah, I have a tough time.
Where's everyone?
I get a really tough time getting a hold of anyone tonight because the weather here is really nice, and I think everyone's enjoying it outside.
Right, that's nice.
Yeah. How are you in Syria? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. It's stabilized. Nothing is, there isn't much. I think people expected something worse for the sanctions, but to me, it was clear that it wasn't going to be all that bad because, well, there was 10 years of war anyway, and we're just coming out of that. And the support was coming in already from people nearby. So it didn't turn out to be that bad. Maybe not just yet. Let's see. It's been a few weeks, 3 weeks, I think. Early July. That's when the Caesar Act kicked in. Yeah. The problems are in Lebanon, and so folks were saying that actually the Caesar Act on Syria is an indirect pressure on Lebanon. And unfortunately, a lot of people who support the IMF and the other, the globalist agenda in Lebanon.
Who the hell supports the IMF?
In Lebanon? Oh my God. More than half of the representatives in Lebanon are outright Zionists. There's plenty of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So the equation, Mike, is Zionism, IMF, globalism, the US dollar, that's all one bucket. And then you've got everything against that, which is Hezbollah, Iran, Syria, some things that China does. I always have issues with China because I feel that it plays on all fronts. And anything that's non-IMF, gold, and projects like agriculture and barter and things like that. Yeah, so the folks are really annoyed with the Hezbollah guy because he had that really aggressive speech the other day They just want Hezbollah weapons, and the whole deal is not economic by any stretch, and it has nothing to do with the COVID, much less. It's entirely about Hezbollah and Hezbollah's weapons. Hezbollah is the main resistance to Israel in the region because they are located in South Lebanon, and that's the border with Israel.
Mm-hmm. So now, with the tensions brewing up in the Middle East on and off since biblical times, are you looking to come back to the West? Are you looking to come back to Canada? Seeing that the price of housing is still going up, the cost of living is going through the roof. What are people here going to do? Like, what are we going to do on this side? Like in the United States, it's getting harder for people with H-1B1 visas to get in the U.S. anymore. And it's not the Americans putting the pressure, it's the Canadian government's putting the pressure on the Americans so we don't lose more and more Canadians. What do you think is going to happen here? I know you live in Canada, so you know the basis of what's been happening.
Well, that's what I do know what's going on, but that's sort of what I always wondered in Canada. Like, how do people make ends meet in Canada? Especially people who have families and, you know, who have more expenses than someone like me would have. And I'm someone who's really frugal and careful. You know, I count everything and things like that. So even before then, I could never really understand how do people invest in a $500,000 one-bedroom condo box in the sky in Toronto? Like, do people count the maintenance fees? Does it occur to them that it's going to go up? And things like that. And I've been trying to get a sense of what's going on in Canada because I'm looking at my options right now. It's not my ideal option to go back to Canada, but I was in touch with a friend of mine yesterday, and he said that, so we're both in Toronto, and he was saying that jobs are sort of coming back. He's in recruitment, so he was looking at some trends, and it seems that people are starting to hire back. Mm-hmm. He was saying that if all goes well, his offices will open in September. Mm-hmm. And things are sort of opening up in Toronto. So I'm starting to look into that, but I have to really wonder if that's going to be worth it, because as it was before my rent went up, I'm not sure it's worth it. You know, the bottom lines in Canada are not really worth it. You know, so, and I save something. Like I have a plus in my bottom line. I don't have debt anywhere, but I still have to wonder if it's worth it. For me, the ideal scenario would be to go back to the Gulf before it completely collapses. So Qatar, UAE, all those places, but it's really bad over there right now, apparently, as well. Things are not well at all.
Because we're looking at these homes here, and we're looking at these homes on 5 acres of land for $63,000, right? And okay, you don't get the job offer you want, but if you could work doing maybe a bit of working from home, and doing maybe a little bit of work in town, doing something. I mean, it's not that hard to make the $200 or $180 monthly mortgage payment. You know what I'm saying? And
I know what you're saying.
And that's the problem with Canada.
Think that
in Canada, we don't have this opportunity in Canada. That's the
I think that's right. I think Canada is horribly overpriced. I mean, everything about Canada is something of a scam, honestly.
It is.
I really think so, honestly. I think all of it Canadian 100%. Immigration is a scam.
At the beginning of the show, I said I wanted to go paint my Corvette. I went to a local place here to look at they looked at my Corvette, and they were looking at it, and they were going to do a little bit of touch up on it for me and you know, get it ready, and you know, basic stuff. And then he's like, no, we're going to have to paint the whole car. It's going to cost you $13,000. I called a paint company in like a painting shop in Portland, Oregon. They could do the exact same job with better flexible paint and remove my headlights and my bumpers of my car. It'll take 5 days to do. 5 to 6 days. I'll have to stay in a hotel, but it's going to cost me $2,000 all in. I sent him photos of the car, and he says the car doesn't even look that bad. So he told me $2,000 and $12,000 to $15,000 in Canada for the same job.
Well, good thing you could find a range like that for a service like that. Mm-hmm. In other areas are tight, you know, and you don't have arbitrage. That's something that really annoyed me in Canada. I felt that there is zero arbitrage opportunities in Canada. Like, there is nothing you can do, no shortcuts you can take that will actually benefit you. Mm-hmm. So if you drive, for example, it's going to cost you a fortune. If you take transit, it's going to cost you a lot of time.
Mhm.
If you shop around, it's going to take you a lot of time. You're going to save a few bucks. If you shop in the same place, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's just really annoying how you can't win. You know what I mean? You it's something I always felt really annoyed by in Canada. But one thing, Mike, that I don't believe in, I don't think your life should be about working in order to be able to pay off a mortgage.
No, I'm not saying that. It's I'm going back to the times of like back in the 80s when my dad came, was paid off his house in 3-4 years. Didn't work his life, but 3-4 years, and the interest rate was at 7 or 9%. And he paid off his house in 4 years because he wouldn't have to pay those high interests, and then moved on with his life, and then started doing other things with the family. What's happened is the Western people have been blanketed with housing prices and blanketed with surrendering 70 to 80% of their income just for shelter. This is dangerous, Layla.
It totally is, and I think housing is a scam in a sense that there is no investment that people are encouraged to invest in that takes up so much of their paycheck. You know, there is no investment or investor that encourages you to put that many of your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that people really don't think about when it comes to housing. You know, I think chasing the dream in that sense, it sounds, it's really an idea. It's an ideal. It's not a scientific or a rational approach to an investment. You know, you have to think about this. And in all cases, the idea of buying is better than renting has been debunked. Like there are cases where it is better to rent because
It's only
your overall
okay, look,
costs are higher,
Layla,
and
it's
you're
better to own. Okay, if you have a total debt service ratio calculator, and you take your income and you look at what you're paying for rent as opposed to what the mortgage would cost, and then taking in a few factors, in 71% of the United States, 71%, it's actually better to own than to rent because it's cheaper to own outright. It's cheaper not to own outright, but to pay a mortgage. But in Canada, 94% is better off renting.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad.
That's how bad it is. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the thing is that it's also a cycle, so you have to time it. Another issue is that housing is not really liquid. It's not as liquid as other assets. I honestly think gold is better. Like, you know, if you count the costs and everything, and you also have to manage your costs. I'm not saying that renting is every time a better option or that everyone is going to get renting right, but you know, you have to sit down and count the costs. I mean, when people look at housing and they just look at their mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They don't look at the cost of property tax,
there are so many, not just that,
municipal
property
taxes.
tax, all the taxes, all the inflation. What about everything you need to do to live in a home? I mean, the average Canadian home has a lawnmower, a snow blower, a leaf blower, a million other things that go into that shack. There's a paint job every so often. There's a maintenance job every so often. Plumbing is horribly expensive in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And everything related to heating, furnace, air conditioning. You know, I want all of these numbers. All of these numbers are part of housing. It's not just the inflation and the mortgage and the property taxes that they pull out of thin air. You know, all of these need to go onto that spreadsheet and then tell me the cost. And then all of it goes up. And these items also have maintenance cost. You know, so I think all of that goes into housing. You know, when I moved to Canada, I immediately saw that. I was like, no, I'm not spending hours every week just working for my house, you know, it's just not going to happen. You know, I have things to do in my life, you know. You're better off doing something else with your time, like starting a business or working extra.
Right, for
just saying,
other goals, yeah.
Yeah, other goals. Yeah, that's what I mean. It depends on your goals. But what I'm saying is that people don't look at these items, and these items should go on the spreadsheet, and you would have a really different number if you were thorough about everything that goes, if you were honest about everything that goes into your house.
Right, but we have a very unsustainable government where he could just go turn around and raise property taxes like they did to Owen, $300 more a month. He's paying $10,000 a year in property tax for a house that's worth $400,000, he told me.
That's exactly the biggest risk. The biggest risk is not what your investment is. The biggest risk is the jurisdiction you live in. The idea that you're not the one who creates the rules. They can seize gold anytime. They can raise your property taxes anytime. They can stop you from shorting certain stocks. Believe it or not, the other day banks were not allowing people to short their cannabis stocks.
Yep.
Obviously, because it was crashing, and I mean, cannabis is a joke. I don't know who even believes that that's even worth an investment. The only way to deal in cannabis is to grow it in your backyard. That's not what deserves an industry. It's not worth an industry. It doesn't have value add. It doesn't have utility in the marketplace. So of course it's going to crash. But that's the problem, is that you don't make the rules. So the idea of nomad capitalism, as Andrew Henderson puts it, I think is important. I think it's important to not only diversify your assets in traditional ways, but also to diversify the kinds of places you have access to, especially with what we're seeing right now. Of course, they're going to shut that down too. I mean, that's also part of the problem, right? Of people offshoring this and offshoring that. And the taxes that governments forego from people having that kind of freedom.
So, Layla, let's get realistic here. We were looking at an article early here, and I'm going to bring it up right now, in the city you used to live in. It's saying Canadian home sales up 63% in June. Prices rise 6.5% year over year. Even with COVID, this housing market is completely resilient. Now, here's the article scan so everyone can see it. There's the article scan. I'm not making it up. So, Layla, what the heck? Who's buying these homes with property taxes going through the roof?
That just sounds like bullcrap, honestly. And, that's one of my big issues with Canada. Like, who is buying? 63% from where? From where?
Sales
who
are
moves
up.
from
Sales,
China?
not prices, but sales are up.
Yeah,
60.
sorry. Yeah, sales. There's no sales is actually the number that has gone down. It's the prices that were resilient, much more than the activity.
Right.
And that was we saw that the other day, not too long ago. Yeah, I mean, these are outright lies, and there's no one to say anything to anyone, to any of these media outlets. They're outright lies. Where is this activity coming from? It doesn't require a lot of research. You can just observe the world. It's been shut down. Most people who invest in Toronto, in the condo market at least, are foreigners. A lot of the houses in Toronto are already owned. It's old money. Toronto, there's lots of these rich families from a long time ago. So it's all of that condo crap. Where are these people coming from?
Well,
or of course, maybe it's money laundering.
Exactly.
It could
There's
be money
a lot
laundering.
of money laundering that's happening, and Canada, the Liberal government in Canada actually shut down the money laundering investigations. The Liberal government shut it down. They've only gotten from 2011 to 2014, and they've only uncovered $210 billion laundered through Canadian real estate. And they shut it down. Trudeau government shut that down and said, we're not investigating this anymore. No more. Done.
Yeah, and people are not alarmed. It doesn't alarm anyone that they shut down such an investigation.
It alarmed me. It pissed me off. I made 4 videos about
hopelessly corrupt. Hopelessly corrupt. There is less corruption in Lebanon than there is in Canada. And the difference is that in Lebanon, they don't try to hide their corruption. People know that there is corruption. You know what you're in for. In Canada, you don't. That is one problem that I have, is that you don't know with these people. And it takes a lot of digging and a lot of awareness to realize that there is so much corruption in Canada, and so much fraud and so much money laundering. It is not okay. It is not good. I think this whole Canada thing is a scam. It's a real problem.
Canada's
so,
big time.
you're asking me if I'm going to move back. Well, I don't know. What for? What for? Am I not better off looking for a job elsewhere? Maybe Malaysia is better. Maybe Thailand is better. Why Canada at this point, right? Because I have a passport. Great. Now what?
Yeah. Well, we got here in the comments, somebody says, Matthew is saying, I work with someone that got a call from China today. It seems they are really starting to contact Chinese expats to get money back into China. I did a video a few days ago, I'm not sure if you've seen it, where the Chinese government is cracking down on Chinese patriots, expats living in Canada. and abroad in Australia, and starting to get them to pay taxes back home in China, which basically they removed, let's say you remove $4 million US from your bank account and move it to, let's say, San Francisco. Well, now the Chinese government wants you to pay $4 million of tax on that money that you never declared before.
Yeah, the only countries that were doing that up until now were the US and Eritrea, actually. The only two countries who would back tax their citizens. So US tax is based on citizenship, not on residence, and same with Eritrea. And now it looks like China is doing that. That's actually, I think, a Chinese tactic. So what they do is when Chinese people leave China and they take their money abroad with them, they invest in things like real estate and commercial businesses, etc., outside of China. And China, the government, finds that they've expatriated their funds illegally. What China can do is to seize these properties. So it's actually a tactic for China to get into countries, and they start owning more and more of these countries. And it's actually a tactic that they use. So it's actually good for them. And that's why they allow so many of their citizens to do that and to expatriate their funds. Now, I think things are looking a bit different. I mean, China is everywhere anyway already. So it looks like they're going to the next level of getting those taxes in. But the U.S. operates like that. Like the U.S. back taxes, everyone knows that. That's a big pain of being an American citizen. And actually, this guy, Andrew Henderson, who runs Nomad Capitalism, which is an interesting channel, I think people should go on it, he gave up his U.S. citizenship because he got so sick and tired of having to file, even when he doesn't owe, because he's clever with setting up all of these of his businesses abroad and offshoring everything in a smart way. That's what he does. So he gave up his citizenship. It can be a hassle to be an American.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me that Canada does that as well at some point, because I think
Canada has to.
Canada
has to do that. They're saying actually the Canadian government is keeping this under heavy wraps. A lot of people don't know this, but did you know that right now at Canada's current population, like the population that they say we're at right now, did you know that more Canadians live in the United States from 1964 that moved down from 1964 to now? More Canadians live in the U.S. than there is in Canada right now, population.
Yeah, Lebanon is like that. There are more Lebanese outside of Lebanon than there are in Lebanon. Yeah.
But
there's two countries. I don't know if Syria has become like that after the war, actually. But yeah, you're right. I feel sorry for America. It's like a dumping ground for the planet. It's like everything that doesn't work anywhere, go dump it in the U.S. The number right now is 47% unemployed. That's really unfortunate. That's a disaster, actually. Not sure. Maybe you want to get Lord or someone else who's in the U.S. to tell us what's going to happen from that.
Yeah, no, you're giving us some very solid feedback here on Canada and what's happening in Canada. It's good to get a perspective from someone that's outside of the country, looking in and actually seeing it from their perspective, right? And this is an important perspective to have once in a while on the show, because it kind of wakes up people to the realities of what really is happening in their own country that they don't see unless you're outside looking in, right?
Yeah, I mean, Canada has, to me, honestly, Canada was a big mistake in my life. Like, if I could turn back time, it would be not moving to Canada. That was 6 years of being drained for absolutely nothing. And I think that's what Canada does. Now, I didn't fall for that. I fell for Lebanon, but I think Canada drains foreign investment. That's the purpose of Canadian immigration, is to try to drain foreign investments.
Yeah,
I think they can see that
Canada's been competing for wealthy Chinese investors to come in now. That's why they're bringing in 500,000 per year since the last 6 years of this current administration. They've been bringing it in and keeping that house pricing going up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of places that ban foreign investing now, you're starting to see the housing prices starting to shake, and locals, and they can't sell their homes anymore because the locals can't afford to buy the homes anymore.
Yeah, that's another risk from housing. Another thing, Mike, I have to wonder if housing is not a generational thing. Like, if you look at the history of the cities, people have been moving to the cities since when? 40s, 50s? up until the 70s. So you see that there was this city boom, right? City life boom that happened for a few generations. And they're the people who built the city. They're the ones who have the big businesses in the city. They have the old money. They're the older parents, the rich parents. And I think this is the generation that built the cities. And now that the cities are built up, it's going to be a different ball game. So I think that housing is also connected to that, to population moves and to population waves. I don't think it's an all-time asset like gold or the idea of investing in a company stock. I think housing could be tied to a certain generational cycle that happened. And unless people do something like move out of one city and go build up a whole new city, which I don't see happening, I think housing is pretty much a one-time thing. That this generation, your father's generation specifically, benefited from. It is also my dad's generation. In Abu Dhabi, he moved to Abu Dhabi in the 60s. That's when the oil boom happened.
Right.
These are the people who built up the cities, and they created all of these businesses and the infrastructure around the city. But that's it. Their kids, they either go into the parents' business or get a share of the parents' business and inherit that. But newcomers are employed in these businesses. They don't have as much room to compete and create these big businesses, and make that much money from building up the city. Do you see what I mean?
I understand. Yes.
Mike? So I think it was a one-time thing. For the folks from the 50s to the 70s. And now I think it goes downhill from now. I don't think it's cyclical in the way people think. I think it's a one-time cycle until, there's a whole new city that is built somewhere.
Well, the problem is the people, like I'm going to give you an example. There was a company that was supposed to come in and install a microwave oven above my stove. And the company was called something Pakistani, lumber build, whatever, like whatever. But they were contracted by the Home Depot to come to my house and install my microwave above my stove, right? Because it has a thing to suck out the air, right? So the guys came in. They started taking the measurements to put in the microwave, but they were going to install the microwave underneath the other fan that's there already above the stove. So they weren't even planning on taking out the fan. Then my mom goes to them and say, "Aren't you going to take the old fan out and wire in the..." They're like, "Oh, we have to do that?" And they're like, yeah. Wait, how are you going to put the microwave on top of another fan, exhaust fan that's already there? Oh, we can't do this. And they just left. So now I'm trying to get my refund back for the installation from the Home Depot, and the Home Depot says, well, unfortunately, you rejected them from installing it. Well, they're going to install it on top of an existing, what do you call those things? Fan shrouds that take off the smell and the smoke, and it's got a light in it. How can you bolt a microwave to that? So that's what's been happening. It's like the people now that are building or that are in the building sector, a lot of them, I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they're just doing it because they need a check. You know what I'm saying, Leila?
I know. And, I've come across these issues in Canada, and I find them so frustrating. Like, with all the horrible things that happen in the Middle East and the poverty and the bad quality and the cheating and all of that, there is basic common sense like that, where it's obvious that, no, they can't do such a job. And it is much more about the relationship with the person you're working with. Yeah, and I find these things really frustrating. The window cleaners didn't clean my windows because I had the fly screen on. They were not going to touch the fly screen and be blamed for any potential damage from removing the fly screen, and so they didn't clean the window.
Yeah. Like things like that, it's getting so out of control right now. And it's getting hard. It's getting really hard It's almost like you have to keep everything within the family nowadays. It's like trying to outsource anything to anybody outside the family to get something done, whether it's even doing a mechanical job on the car or something. That's why I start picking up the tools again and fixing my own cars, Layla. I fixed the minivan. I fixed the little car. I fixed my Corvette. I work on all my cars now. I even bought ramps to lift my car. I don't even trust anyone putting their hands on my vehicles anymore.
Yeah, I hear you totally. And that's what I meant by I felt that they're just going to make life a lot more miserable in Canada now, especially with the COVID and um, all of the restrictions and all of the emergency systems in place. It just sounds like they're going to make life really, really miserable. And it didn't take the COVID for me to feel that way. Like I always felt that it's so tight in Canada that you can't, you have to think so much about, the smallest thing, like the smallest thing you want to do, you have to really think about it and calculate it and sit down and count the costs. And it's just exhausting, just doing basic things in that country. So um, that's something that I was annoyed with all throughout. And other than the big stuff, this is minor, but it's just unhappy. It's just hard to get things done.
You're right, Layla.
Hard to get things done.
I 100% feel for you on this because I feel the same way. Like to get anything done is a mission. Like basic things.
Yeah.
Like I had to get a guy in to fix my internet. For example, when I was living in Vancouver, he said I'll be there between June 9th to July 24th.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Come on.
it's like, you know what? I just changed companies and told them the story, and then they gave me some upfront good treatment. Oh, we'll be there from June 9th to July 24th. Just be home in that window, and we'll send somebody. But if you leave, or we faintly knock on your door, then we're gonna walk away.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't charge you the deposit or something, something like that.
But you see where I'm going. Yeah. I know where you're going with this. I felt this here, and it's like everything needs to be done on you have to do everything. And you know how the incompetence, how you're talking about
There's
this incompetence
so much
at some of the basic
incompetence.
levels and making
So
it
much
hard?
incompetence.
Huh?
Yes, thank you. Mike, you were one of the only people who would actually bring up that stuff. That was earlier on before I got hooked to your channel.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of the few people who would actually talk about this honestly. And I was like, where are the channels talking about the problems in Canada on a day-to-day basis? I'm not talking politics and the big economic waves. I'm talking the day-to-day issues that people have. I couldn't find these channels. I couldn't find people complaining about the day-to-day stuff. I'm like, that's not possible. Surely there's more going on. Surely it's not just me. And so, you were someone who would say you'd buy something and it would break. I think you said that once on one of your morning
many
coffees.
times. And don't buy anything made
Little
in China.
things like that. Yeah.
I'd rather pay $200
anywhere.
more for something and never have to replace it for the rest of my life.
Well, yes, and it depends what it is. And then for me in Canada, it was just not buying it at all.
Yeah.
Because just having the stuff and the headaches, it's going to bring down the line. Like, I was going to say no. Like one of them is, for example, driving. I didn't drive in 8 years. I couldn't get my license in Canada. I speed drive too much. Mm-hmm. But I never thought that I was going to, like how was I going to ever make the cost of a car happen? And then the parking tickets. I don't believe these people. Mm-hmm. It's such a scam. They just go around ticketing everyone. That, for example, was never going to happen. And then later on, I even cut public transportation, and I prefer to walk because transit is so annoying. And now with the cuts, Mike, updates from John Tory, they're going to cut subway lines in Toronto. You know how many subway lines there are in Toronto? 4. Mm-hmm. They're going to find a way to cut lines in Toronto. They're going to cut the Purple Line from north to east, and I forget what they are, and then the Scarborough Line.
Wow.
Can you imagine? There's barely any subway lines in Toronto, and they're going to cut them, and they're going to cut a lot of the wheel trans and a lot of. But I'm telling you, it's going to become miserable. It's just going to become a lot more painful to
another country,
operate
Layla, that people in the comments are weighing. Another country that's like Canada is Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
And England and
yes.
the UK. Yeah.
Yes, of course, because these are all carbon copies of the British system. Mm-hmm. The Commonwealth is all one copy paste of everything. Mm-hmm. The political system, the economic system. They have 5 banks here, 5 banks there. It's all the same. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Australia is another one of those housing-only economies.
And New Zealand, a lot of New Zealanders are complaining that their country has turned into a nation of renters because nobody locally could get into their own housing market. There's one guy.
Yeah.
There's one guy that lives in Shanghai that owns 2,600 properties in New Zealand. 2,600, yeah, 2,600 properties in New Zealand, and he's never visited New Zealand once in his life.
Well, that sounds like a nice milestone towards this UBI system, right, in New Zealand. I think, yeah, she's doing really well, this Ardern woman. She's been checking them off one at a time, one at a time. She's reaching the milestones. So I think a majority of renters means less owners, means more dependency. And I would say that is a good step to UBI, and that's going to kick in. And UBI, did you hear about the woman in Canada who's saying that CERB should naturally transition into UBI? It's not a secret.
That is dangerous.
No, it's not a secret.
Dangerous.
And they, in Canada, they're very open about it. It's how they drip feed people, and there's never a retaliation. That's something that I couldn't cope with,
universal basic income
honestly.
is dangerous because there's people that want to produce. There's people that want to be productive. There's people that want to go out and make something with their lives and make, there's people out there that do want to buy a house. There's people out there that do want to be part of something and be a part of some sort of movement forward in mankind. A lot of people don't want to sit back and collect UBI and be unproductive all their lives. That sucks.
Yeah, well, that's nice, Mike, but they don't care. The elite doesn't care. These are targets. The UBI is a major target for the agenda. Pretty clear. And again, the acceleration of these milestones has been pretty phenomenal. You've got to give them credit. They did really well with this COVID thing. Really, really well. They checked so many boxes.
Layla,
they've achieved so much in just a few months. Just back in February, we were looking at 50 cases of the COVID in Wuhan. That was 4.5 months ago. Look at where we are today.
Layla, can you agree with me that they're going to keep this going on till the election's over?
Nope. I think it's going to go beyond the elections because I think the elections don't matter.
Really?
I think the election,
was
absolutely.
all about the elections.
No, it has nothing to do with the elections. Agenda 2030 and 2050 has been in existence well before Trump came into the picture. It's not about Trump. It's not about the elections. No one cares. And whether it's Trump or Hillary or anyone else, the American foreign policy is going to be the same. The only time there is a change is when the American foreign policy has changed and when the dollar has changed and it's back to gold. That's when things have changed. Until then, it's all the same, and it's all theater. I'm good with having hopes in Trump. I'm good with that. I'm always watching. But I really don't see him pulling it off. He could, but he wouldn't on his own. Like, it would be a whole lot of other pressure from the rest of the world, like Hezbollah wiping out Israel, for example. That would create a good shockwave across the central banking cartel because a lot of these guys are invested in Israel and Zionism. So it would have to come from this kind of resistance. But for it to be like a distraction from the elections, no, it's the other way around. It's the elections that are a distraction from the agenda.
Okay. That's a good point of view. I like that. That's why we have people on here to tell us what they think. I'm thinking this is just me. I'm thinking they're doing this because they want to get Trump out and they want this COVID thing. But I could bet you 100 to 1.
I have to ask you this question. I have to ask you this question. What did Trump do for Americans?
Oh, no, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying Trump is the greatest. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if this fell on Obama's lap and Obama was president, he would have got a Nobel Peace Prize, and they would have eradicated the COVID, and they would have shut down and had 0 cases in 3 months. Done. Open and shut.
Well, no,
case.
they wouldn't have, Mike, because the point of the COVID is exactly what is happening, whether it is Obama or Trump or Hillary or anyone else. These are globalist agenda goals that are being implemented by every country that is on the globalist list, which is the majority of the countries in the world. And the people who are trying to get out of this are people who are being fought left, right, and center, like Venezuela, Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, and maybe a few. I don't know if there's anyone else, actually. I think that's it. Yeah, Venezuela, I said that.
Oh, sorry, Iran.
Iran, Syria, and Hezbollah. I don't know who else is resisting the globalist agenda.
North Korea.
Yes, North Korea. All the terrorists in the world are the ones who are resisting the agenda. See the
That's
equation?
kind of an interesting way to put it when you look at it that way.
No, but that's exactly why people are on the terrorist list. It's not because they can't. The ISIS is sponsored by Saudi Arabia, who is sponsored by the U.S. Israel supports ISIS. ISIS soldiers are hospitalized in Israel. That people need to get their heads around the equation. I know you get it, Mike, but people are not seeing it. Well, why does the U.S. support Saudi Arabia so much? Why do the Clintons and the Bushes have such strong relationships with Saudi Arabia? And of course, the Bushes are conservative, and the Clintons are Democrats. And they're both tied to Saudi Arabia. Why do they have these ties to Saudi? Do you know who Uma Aberdeen is?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, her parents are Saudi. And they run these
intern for their
nonprofits. Yeah,
she was married to Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, hello, pedophile ring.
Yeah,
and
I found his laptop the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm just
cool.
Kidding.
What apps were on it?
I'm just
joking. So they sponsor this nonprofit network, quote unquote nonprofit network in Saudi. This is the mosque nonprofit network. We know what that is, right? Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I just don't mention it too much on my channel so I don't get shut down.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah.
No, that's fine. All right, Layla, I'm going to let you go. I'm wrapping up by 2 hours.
Super.
And we'll have you on for Mike in the Night to bring up some of this so we could discuss this on. We're going to do some current affairs. We're just going to keep doing Mike in the Night current affairs as things progress because it's so hard to predict what the next show is going to be about. Maybe by Friday we'll invent time travel and that'll be part of the show. Maybe somebody might find Bigfoot. We'll do that in the show. Maybe we'll have world peace because things keep unfolding too fast right now for us to even predict what's going to happen for Saturday's show, Mike in the Night. So we're just going to do a current affairs on Mike in the Night. So you're welcome to come on and call in and be part of the show. Okay, Layla?
Thanks, Mike. I'd love to hear others as well, though.
Okay, God bless you.
And Supreme. Supreme has been disappearing recently. Whereabouts is he?
He's busy. I spoke to him the other day. He's going to come by and see me maybe this weekend if he can at the store.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just
sounds
busy.
Good. And also Mario, Mike.
It was really hard to get anyone to call into the show today because everyone's out. It's nice. It's beautiful outside. Everyone's enjoying the weather at parks. I don't blame them. A lot of people watch the show on replay, so the replayability on the show is not that bad. So.
That's good. And Mike, also Mario, the Last Canuck. I just want to say that Metal Gear and I, we were teasing him about Nisara, but it was just joking. He doesn't have to take this seriously. So let him come back on and tell us about maybe the Ghislaine Maxwell arrest. Maybe he has something interesting to say about that because a lot of people think that these arrests are happening for a reason. So.
Yeah, I can get him on. I'm gonna see if I get him on Mike in the Night if he's awake. I know he's back working full time and he's got to be up early. That's the problem. But I'll see if I can get him on Mike in the Night.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, you take care, Layla. You take care. Have a good night, and God bless you.
You too. God bless. Thanks, Mike. Bye.
Diana Y saying, so it looks like it ain't worth buying a home then? Well, property taxes are going up, and the cost of, if you're going to buy a home, then you buy something like this. Like something, a fixer-upper like this for 80 grand in Chicago, like here. Article scan, please. Like you buy something like this. Look, 3,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 89,000, and that is in Iowa. Then we have North Carolina. Look, Nova Scotia, Canada, 79 grand. Like if you buy something like this, look, in Wisconsin. Okay, what's the price on that? There's no price. Sold. Never mind. 35 grand. Look, I mean. You buy something like this, like even in a very busy neighborhood, sold. Never mind. 35 grand. Like I mean, you buy something to start off with cheap, and keep cheap property taxes. You could do okay. Buying is worth it if you're in the right country. In Canada, a house like this anywhere in Canada, you're looking at over 400, 500,000 for a house like this anywhere across Canada. But unfortunately, here. This is in Arkansas, and it's sold. It's probably selling for, because I have it programmed for $100,000 and less. So everything that's sold is under $100,000. $65,000. Here's another one here. Another one here for $100,000. So if you're gonna buy, you're buying something like this that you could afford the mortgage on, and all you need is a menial job to get by. Okay, I get that. Then it's worth it. Look, $85,000, 5 bedrooms, 10 acres of land. But I'm just kind of throwing that out there, you know? And property tax on these places, because they're like under $100,000, property tax for these places are less than, easily less than $1,000 a year. So I kind of wanted to throw this out there today. Kind of go back to this. I like going back to this chat, to this website that Mitch Madden told us about here. Been checking it out every time. Thank you, Mitch, for giving us this page here. Woo! Anthony Ruvalacaba sent me $5. Okay, guys, one last channel plug. Guys, don't forget to go on the channel and make sure you set yourselves up for all the upcoming Mike in the Night shows this Saturday. Hopefully, we can get some people watching the show this Saturday. I know the weather is good, but Mike in the Night's a little bit later in the evening for most people. So here it is, Mike in the Night. Keep track of visions in my eyes. Go ahead and set your reminders for this show if you guys don't mind doing it. Here it is. Set your reminders for this show. There's the reminder there. And guys, don't forget to buy something off Teespring if you guys want to buy a mug or something or be part of the... I don't care, man. Buy something if you want. And everything supports the channel. And... yeah, there I am here if you guys want to message me on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook has me set up as a company, not as a public figure. They don't want me to be represented as a public figure, even though I have 115,000 people that like me. But there's people with 2,000 people that follow them, and they're a public figure. There's my Facebook there, and I'll give you guys my Instagram if you guys want to send me some show tips. If I'm ignoring you on Instagram, I'm not. It's because sometimes Instagram blocks people sending me messages for some bizarro reason. Or they filter it thinking I don't want to talk to you. I don't know why they would, these companies in my protection, stop me. Or stop people from trying to message me. And they have me registered as a company, not even as a... I can't even be a public figure on Facebook because I'm not credible. But they have me as a company. Yeah, there it is, guys. So there it is, guys. If you want to follow me on here, I don't post here, but I do get a lot of messages here. Look, I have 8 messages waiting for me since the show started. Woo! Yeah! All right, guys. Let me know what you guys are up to in the comments below after the show. I appreciate your support, guys. Appreciate everything that you've done for this channel, whether you call in, whether you comment, whether you watch it on replay. Someone's saying like I'm like Ed the Sock. No, I'm not. Ed the Sock had all these cute young girls in his hot tub. I'm nowhere like Ed the Sock, guys. But anyways, guys, here it is, guys. Trends in the housing market. I hope they don't take down this episode. Anthony's saying I'm a AAA plus rated company, Mike. Yeah, my problem is they've been taking down my shows. They've taken down, if you go back to the channel here, there's a housing show under attack. Here it is on Article Scan. The housing show is under attack. I'm going to leave you a link. The trends in the housing market, it says right here, was taken down. You're not carrying rocket fuel to push the rocket. So there's too much going on, guys. There's the video for that if you want to watch that. I did a lot of... There's Master Yoda commenting there. I think I saw him in the comments. Tig Nim is saying, reading my Bible. You know, I'm reading my kids, the children's Bible. Anthony's asking, Blunt News is asking if Raven called in earlier. No, he didn't. He'll call in. He usually calls in on Mike in the Night. The housing show, I'm trying to get people to call in and telling me their housing stories or what's happening in their housing situation, affordability, what they're doing, what they could plan, any tips they could give us, because right now the cost of living is just too damn high. So IDK77 says, been an interesting show, Mike. Anthony, Mike could pay coupons less than inflation. I'd still add his bonds to my portfolio. Woo! All right. Mitch Mann says, Mike transformed from international man to family man. Then we got IDK saying the Austrian property market is very strong, Mike. Lord is saying, how much VIG on the wig, Mikey? I'm moving to Florida in a few years, says Joe R. Don't repost live streams. It's a curse. Love is money. Money is love. Dang 0088 is saying, nice house. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Blunt News in the house. I want to get the Blunt News on if he can, on Mike in the Night this Saturday. I haven't heard from him in a while, so it's good to get an update on what he's been up to, what is happening on his neck of the woods. I would like to get Blunt News on the show too. I think we're gonna get Liam on the show again, who was telling us about that big gorgeous dam there in China, the Three Gorges Dam. I forgot what it's called. And then hopefully we could get Evan, the market guy, to give us an update on the markets and where they're at. Who else? We could probably get Tino on the show from Seattle to let us know what's happening with that chop or mop or crop there in Seattle. Yeah. Joe R saying, I have the cash and I can't wait till it bottoms. Woo! Yeah, if there's no school in the fall for the kids, I'm moving and leaving the city. Yeah, a lot of people, there better be school in September. There better be school in September. I understand the need to push this agenda, but my kids can't stay home 7, 8, 9 months in a row. I don't think so. Anyways, Mike Banks in the house. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really appreciate your comments below. Comment, share the show. And we'll talk soon, guys, I promise. And thanks for watching. And remember, guys, be careful. Everybody be careful out there. And if you can't be careful, please stay safe.